Initially, when I started my poultry farm, it was actually a good start for me. In the first month, I hatched around 25 chicks, of which during the brooding stage, I lost over 20 of them, and currently I am left with only 5 of the chicks that I hatched by then. There are very many poultry farmers out there doing poultry keeping, but when it comes to brooding their chicks, they really lose very many birds during this brooding stage. Welcome once again on the channel. It's Jacob, a passionate farmer as always about poultry keeping. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how we manage to raise our baby chicks with zero mortality, zero death on our poultry farm. So guys, you stick around. You may have like very many hens laying, and after they have hatched, let me say that they hatch 100 chicks, then you may lose over 70 of them during the brooding stage. So in today's video, we will be actually erasing this problem that is normally facing farmers when it comes to brooding their chicks. I personally, I am a living example of that testimony. Initially, when I started my poultry farm, it was actually a good start for me. In the first month, I hatched around 25 chicks, of which during the brooding stage, I lost over 20 of them, and currently I am left with only 5 of the chicks that I hatched by then. And some of the chicks are these ones over here. This one over here, which you are seeing, let me try to zoom in. Yeah, that one over there going. This is one of the chicks that I hatched over 25 of them. But as I speak right now, I am left with only 5 of them. And most of them died during the brooding stage. In my experience, there are some things that I did which made my chicks to die. And also there are other things that I did not do that made my chicks to die. But in today's video, I'll be telling you all the things that I did and all the things that I did not do that led to the death of all my chicks. So that when you want to start your poultry farm, you will not repeat the same mistakes that I've made. Number one is that you make a poultry cage, a chick cage, or somewhere where the chicks which are hatched can stay in a safe place without mixing with the other adult birds. That's why you see me having this thing over here. With this is my cage, which I've made some months back, and I've managed to put my chicks inside it. This hen over here hatched 11 chicks, and they are all alive. As you guys can see, none of them has died. They are all alive, healthy, and they are all growing very fine. Initially, I didn't have any information about the cage, so that's why most of my birds died at their early stage or at their brooding stage. What I was doing by then was that when my chicks hatch, I bring them and then they stay together with the older birds, which really made my birds to die, because at some point the feeds that they eat, they need to struggle. The chicks will struggle, the big hens will struggle, so it will be very difficult for the chicks to actually grow very comfortable. And naturally, with the chickens, another hen cannot like every chick which is laid by another hen. So at times they will peck on them, and most of them died because of this. So guys, if you can get a cage like mine over here, then it will be very fine. But that doesn't mean that it is a must for you to all get cages. No. At times you can get a separate room or a separate poultry structure where your chicks will stay right over there. Another thing is that I lost my birds because of some predators. I remember in one of my videos about telling you that I came in the morning and then found 2 of my chicks dead. And actually, I didn't know what could have killed them. So I had to do some research inside my poultry structure, and I found out that it was a rat with a long nose. With the cage over here, you will not have anything like rats or snakes even disturbing you. Because one, you can see the wire mesh over here, which is too small, and a rat can't enter through it. And then second, the cage is inside the poultry structure, which means that first, it will be very hard for the snakes, for the rats to first pass my poultry structure and again come and pass my cage over here. It's like an added advantage with the cage over here. So guys, make sure that you have a poultry cage where you will keep your chicks comfortable inside it. Number 2 is that poultry farming is a business. We are doing it as a business. So what we want is that, like for me in my poultry farm, my mission or my vision is to multiply as much birds as possible on my poultry farm. So what I do is that when my chicks hatch, I bring them in the cage over here, like these chicks over here, which you are seeing. And then they stay for some periods of time, like 3 to 4 months. That is when now the birds can now stay on their own. Like these birds over here can now stay on their own. They have put on the feathers, they can now survive on their own. So even if I pick the hen or their mother out, they can still survive. My point is that to avoid brooding expenses, you must have this cage over here where the hen will be able to supply the chicks with enough heat for the brooding period. But let me say you hatch them and then find another source of heat. Let me say that you use charcoal or electricity. In other words, it will be very expensive. As we all know, these are local chickens and they really grow very slow. That means that it also really takes a lot of time for them to put on their feathers compared to the commercial birds or the broilers, which grow really fast. So guys, with this cage, it really serves us so much. It really saves us on the cost of the brooding. There is no dime or there is no money that we will use for the brooding expenses, because the hen is actually there to brood the chicks, and afterward we will pick it and then take it to the rest of the chicken. Number 4 is that if your chicks hatch, make sure that you give them nutritious feeds. This is done because we want them to really grow very fast within the shortest period of time. Actually, we want them to put on their feathers very quickly so that they can be done with the brooding. And when they are now done with the brooding, we can now shift to other forms of feeds which we actually give to the rest of the birds. But at this stage, we should give them enough feeds which are very nutritious. By this, I mean that you should give them feeds which are rich in protein. As we all know, proteins help so much in the growth of the birds. It actually boosts its growth. The bird really grows very fast. So at this stage, we should try as much as we can to actually give these birds feeds that rich in protein so that they can grow very fast and then put on their feathers very fast as well. Like my chicks over here, they are almost 4 weeks, but they have really grown up. This is because the feeds that I was giving them is rich in protein, making them grow very fast. Let's say that you give them poor quality feeds, your birds will really take very long to put on their feathers. That means that it will also take time for them to actually be done with the brooding. And guys, don't forget to use multivitamins in their feeds or in their water. This helps so much to boost their growth and then performance of the birds. So make sure that you get one from the market and then use it to your chicks. And this is what I have been using all this while. That is why you see the birds, they really have appetite for the feeds. So make sure that besides the feeds, besides the quality feeds that you give to them, you should get a multivitamin for the birds as well. The next one is that make sure that you vaccinate your birds against certain diseases. For instance, day-old chicks should be vaccinated against the Marek's vaccine, meaning that even if a disease breaks out on your poultry farm, your birds will be safe because you have vaccinated them. But if you have not vaccinated them, then even if a disease comes in, you are likely to lose all of your birds to this kind of disease. So guys, make sure that you vaccinate all your birds against all the poultry diseases needed at each level of their growth. That way it will help so much in preventing your chicks from dying at an early stage. After now you have fed up your birds very well, they have grown even very fast, make sure that you separate the hen, which is their mother, from the chicks. This is because of some reasons. This hen over here will be taken back to the rest of the birds and will stay for some times and again start giving you eggs, which means that there will be a steady flow of chicks on your poultry farm. But if you are to keep this hen together with the chicks for a long time, means that also it will take long time for your hen to start laying again. So guys, that is what we are currently doing on our poultry farm, making us get more chicks right over here. And guys, the last thing that you should not do, which we have done, that's why we have lost even very many of our chicks, is introducing your chicks to the flock or the old flock. Make sure that after your birds have now passed a brooding stage, you don't introduce them immediately to the existing flock of birds. Make sure that you get a separate space or a separate poultry house where you should take these birds so that they can stay there at their stage or at their young stage for at least 3 months. And if now they have reached a level like this bird over here, then you can introduce it to the rest of the flock. That way it will prevent so many things like the pecking, which I earlier talked on in the beginning of this video. So guys, on my poultry farm we still have one cage, which is this one over here, but after some days I'm planning to get another one which I should put here because we are expecting very many chicks this month. Let me try to take you inside the brooder section so that you can see. And I think one hen over there wants to lay. So here we are. This one here, I think it wants to lay, and all our laying nests are almost done. Starting from here guys, you can see that we have 3 birds which are currently incubating the eggs. I remember in my last video when I came inside my brooder section, I actually made a mistake. Instead of saying that my hens were incubating, I was like my hens were brooding. A friend actually corrected me, so big up to a friend over there. As human beings, we all do make mistakes. Thanks brother, thanks so much. Right over here you can see that we have around 3 hens which are currently incubating their eggs. This one over here is now 2 days, and this one I think it's left with some 4 to 5 days to actually give us the chicks. This one started incubating yesterday, and you can see some eggs over there and others over there. We have lots of eggs on our farm in less than 1 month. And in another section over here, we do have more hens which are currently incubating our eggs. So guys, you can see them over there. They are really looking nice and cool. That one over there in the corner is still laying, and it's its first time to actually lay. We have some eggs over there waiting for an hen to incubate them. So guys, like I told you earlier, we are expecting over 100 chicks from our poultry birds which are over here. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. And what I have noticed is that most of you guys come and watch my videos without liking them. But in this particular video, do me a favor please, like the video. That way YouTube will recommend this video to very many people, which will also help them in one way or the other. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you'll never miss out in case I upload any new video on the channel. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye bye.